It has been a while since we have had artifact news. And it's been a while since I've uploaded or streamed. And I apologize for that. But I'm here. And since Artifact is coming back, I'm coming back too. A little bit of history about me. I've been playing Magic the Gathering for about 6 years now. I played Artifact when it first came out, went to PAX West, got a couple of beta keys, did giveaways and such. I was really excited for the game. And if you go to my YouTube channel, you can actually see quite a few Artifact videos. So I'm really excited for this. Artifact is getting a 2.0 redesign, and I have here 3 articles by the devs that have been giving information about the new Artifact. I have already read these 2, but I have not read this one yet, so I'm going to give my opinions on these 2 fairly quickly, and then I'm going to spend more time on mechanics, because I like mechanics. I'm definitely a Mel, if you know that term. When the members of the team decide to reboot Artifact, we all did it for different reasons. Some of us loved the original game and wanted to see it thrive. Some of us liked the freeing sense of creativity you can have with a card game. Some of us love trying to figure out how something is broken and see it fixed. There was one unifying reason for all of us. We thought that there was something special in the game, and with hard work we could bring it to light. Thanks for the feedback over the last 2 weeks. It's been great seeing how many of you share in those feelings. There is one class of concerns raised that we want to address specifically. Those from the founding players of Artifact, the people who played extensively and built a collection in the original game. There are some great ideas floating around for things we could add, and they mesh well with our own. We want to make sure that there are some incredibly cool and special things that we deliver to our founders, but we aren't ready to implement them yet. As we mentioned in our previous post, that we're focusing on gameplay first. Wait, let me... Yep, there's actually 4, so let me just start with this. Blah blah blah, gameplay changes. All 3 lanes at once. So, the majority of effects still work on individual lanes, so they still maintain our identity, but it's less likely that the player will get shot out in the same way we used to. As we'll see here, all 3 lanes are being played at once, which is so exciting. We also focus on making the game easier to pick up. We aren't selling cards, so you won't face an opponent with stacked deck. We also had a new draft mode, blah blah blah. So, basically, I will likely have beta access. Likely. Not 100%, but likely. Anyways, basically, if there's any feedback you want, this is the email to go to. We are going to read all of them. Fun stuff to come. Alright, placeholder art. Great placeholder art. We're on up. Apparently, this is a new standard stat line. Stats overall have been scaled to around 60% of the original game. This, and as we'll see later, creeps are 1-1. This will lead to a lot less fine control over how much health a person has. 1 damage is a lot more now than it was earlier. It's like... How do I say this? It's like, in Magic the Gathering, you have 60 card decks which start at 20 life, and then you have Commander which starts at 40 life. 2 points of damage is a lot more in Standard than it is in Commander. However, this also means that it's a lot easier to calculate because humans, especially English-speaking humans, are much better at calculating smaller numbers than bigger numbers. However, someone like in Japanese, they're much better at calculating much bigger numbers because of how their money system works. That's why Yu-Gi-Oh! Has 8,000 life points and Magic has 20, right? It's, I assume then that the tower health is also going to go down by a bit. I'm gonna guess 30, but we don't know. Leap. Active 3, 1 mana. They're adding mana to activated abilities. I love that. It is really nice to add another dial to see how exactly to change smaller things. Move Marana to an adjacent lane, give Marana and new neighbors +2 attack this round. So, there's a lot more movement in Artifact 2.0, as I'm calling it. As many people are calling it. This will lead to a lot less feel bad when it turns out that someone's just abandoned in a lane, and we'll see pretty soon about how that's gonna change as well. But, Sacred Arrow. So it has these arrows, again, same thing as Artifact, it means it can go into any lane. Choose Caster. Deals 2 to a unit in any lane, plus 1 per lane traveled from the caster. So, if you have someone in lane 3, and you choose Caster to have the lane 3 person deal damage to lane 1, that's 4 damage to a unit for 4 mana. Pretty good already. Stun if a hero, slay if a creep. This is really important. The slay is... I mean, slay is just always good. 3 mana slay a unit was totally playable in Artifact 1.0. And stunning a hero can lead to very powerful things. But again, because movement is more of a thing in this one, it's very possible for them to then move someone over to the lane of the hero that you stunned. I think that this is more going to be used to slay a creep, but when it is used to stun a hero, it's going to be good. Wraith King. 4/3. Reincarnation. Deploy, gain a Death Shield. Death Shields are great. When Wraith King uses a Death Shield, heal to full and give enemies -2 attack for their next combat. This is sweet. As it says, Wraith King looks fragile for a green hero, but his built-in Death Shield makes him one of the most survivable units in the game. If there is a way to play him, activate the Death Shield, and then bounce him back, which we will see that there are ways to do it, this is very, very, very powerful. The -2 attack, considering that 4 is fairly average attack for a black hero, -2 is half of that. That's really good. Like, really good. Hellfire Blast. Stun 2 units this round, give it +2 decay for 2 rounds. So this is 4 damage and stun. That's really good. It seems pretty good, although I won't know for sure. Sticky Greevil. Rooted. More movement, more ways to stop movement. Rooted is good. I don't know if this card will be good. I don't think it will, unless movement is, like, more important than I'm thinking, that a 1 mana 1/1 is playable. That gives your opponent a gold. Nah. Morphling Whelp. This is sick. This is cool. Morphling Whelp. Blocking a hero. Blocking Wraith King sounds sick. I love this. Defense Rating Ogre. So this is a 5 mana 4/5. According to this is a big stat line. It is bigger than Marana, so that's good. Also, Bounce. Bounce is cool. Since this has been turned into a mechanic, Bounce has been turned into a mechanic, it's probably going to be a lot more of a thing. In Artifact 1.0, pretty much the only way to bounce I can think of is teleporting, TP scrolling your own unit. Yeah. Sheepstick. 25 gold item. Here's the first 25 gold item. I don't know what this 1 means. Does that mean 1 mana? If so, neat. Plus 5 attack. 5 attack is a lot. 25 gold. Makes sense. Active 2, 1 mana. Hex an enemy for 2 rounds. They are stunned and look like a sheep. Stunned for 2 turns. That's great. And it has active 2. Wait. That's kind of crazy. Yeah, if you have initiative, someone is just perma-stunned. Nice. So yeah, that's the first round of previews. Next, deployment deep dive. Deluge of emails. Slow readers, taking a bit more time. Yep. Initial board setup. The flop. Deployment. So, board still has 3 lanes. Oh yeah, it is 30 health, I was right. But each lane has exactly 5 slots. Restrictions breed creativity. Instead of having 3 separate boards with infinite spots each, this is more like one board with 15 slots that is split a little bit into 3 bits. I think this is much easier on the eyes. This is going to add a lot to the skill ceiling, because how you position matters. But the skill floor is also going to be lower, because it is easier to pay attention to 15 slots than infinite times 3. This will make the game better, in my opinion. Lane creep deployment. Even creeps. Good. There are times when you would put 3 creeps in one lane and your opponent didn't, and that lane was just one for you for a lot of the game. This is great. I like this a lot. Hero deployment. Yes. I love this as well. So, let's take this matchup, shall we? Also, slight changes. Branches of Iron. Allies up to 2 slots away have +2 armor. Armor has been changed, as it is said later. Track. By a hunter does 3 damage when attacking tracked hero. Deploy track bounty hunter's target if it's a hero. Tracked units have +5 bounty. This is nice. It get rid of the randomness from Janata. Gain the gold that bounty hunter is known for, plus the attack. That's just great. Murata we talked about. Bristleback. Reactive ability. When it takes damage outside of combat, reduce that damage to 1, then activate Quill Spray. This says 2-1, not by 1. This is good. Quill Spray. I don't know if Bristleback will make this go on active, or on cooldown, and make it cost mana. I don't think it will, but we'll find out. Active 3, 1 mana, deal 1 combat damage to adjacent enemies. This is combat damage. I don't know if that matters, but we'll find out. Timbersaw. Active 3, 1 mana. Move Timbersaw up to 5 slots away. Deal 1 damage to each enemy passed on the way. So, Timbersaw is very mobile. It's because of this, right? The 15 slots. If Timbersaw was here, you can move him 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And it would hit all of these. I don't know if it would hit this one, but that seems good. It also has 1 armor, just base, which is cool. Step 1, mid. Each player chooses their first 3 heroes. They can deploy them in one of the 3 middle spots in the lane. So, one of these 3 spots. Because Treant Protector has the allies up to 2 slots away in this lane have +2 armor, because it does say in this lane, having Treant in the middle is great. Pass forward can affect the whole lane from the center position, so the opponent might just place Airmed to prevent that advantage. So if I'm the opponent, I'm thinking I want to move probably Timbersaw versus the Treant Protector in mid. And sure enough, that's what they did. Because of the armor and the low attack here, Timbersaw is going to be very in a lot of danger here. And the 7 health, 4 attack, that's 2 rounds of damage ignoring everything. Plus, Timbersaw in mid will make it so that 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, or 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, if he does need to get to another lane, he can do so very, very easily. Offlane. Offlane is the dangerous one, so of course Wraith King. He's putting it over here because... yeah, we're expecting them to put in Bristle. I'm expecting Bristle to go here, because that way Quill Spray can activate here, unless he wants... but then Quill Spray will not activate on the Wraith King here, so that's fair. Oh, no, Bristle's over here, right, because it's reversed. Wraith King there is safe. Wraith King is a safe unit. Finally, Bounty Hunter in the safe lane, because it has a deploy effect that cares about who it's targeting. So, of course, Bounty Hunter in front of Bristleback is good. Bristleback has 5 health, Bounty Hunter has 7 attack, really. So, assuming nothing happens, they trade, and you gain more gold than they do, which is nice. And Murata went there. So, Murata's ability is Leap. Right. So... Murata is very safe. Overall, I think that the opponent has a slight advantage here because of the Timbersaw, although this is big. Unless the opponent has any sort of red defense, this Bristleback is going to die and we're going to gain a lot of gold, which is great. You still get additional hero to deploy in the second and third rounds, plus any hero that returns from the fountain. Later deployments have no restrictions on where heroes can be deployed, so they can go into any of the 15 slots. Deploying a hero on top of another hero will bounce the old hero to deploy next turn. As we mentioned earlier, Wraith King with a deploy ability is very good. Put someone on top of the Wraith King off after the death shield is already gone, get some value. Deploying a hero on top of a creep will destroy the creep. Not ideal for you, because it will give your opponent a gold. When you play a creep card, you choose the exact slot in the lane to deploy it into. Good. Playing a creep on top of a unit will destroy that unit. Don't put creeps on top of your heroes. It will destroy the hero. That is very bad. Additional notes, armor works differently. Tower health is dependent upon the game mode. Game modes! Different game modes. So I'm imagining, as I mentioned earlier with Magic the Gathering, Standard and Commander. Standard has the 20 health, and Commander has 40 health. If there is a fun mode that has more health, but all 5 heroes are in from the beginning, that would be cool as hell. I think that the option of game modes having different tower health is really cool. Is there anything more? No, I don't think there's anything more in here. Mechanics! Now here's the one that I have not read yet. Anyone know what Debbie is? Is there a term for the opposite of a mechanic? This one came in hot, so please forgive any Graham batter. Who would have guessed that doing all this remotely would be so hard? Anyway, let's get into it. Initiative. The initiative rules haven't changed much, but the implications are different due to the round being shared across lanes. Players still take turns performing actions until both players pass in a row, and then you go to combat. Sequence continues across rounds, so while you can't control initiative across lanes, you can still do so across rounds. You don't control initiative across lanes, you do... Okay. There are more rounds per game, although each round is shorter. And get initiative spells still exist, although they've been renamed to Quick. I believe that Murata's ability was Quick, which is good. Mana. There is now a single mana pool that starts at 3 and increases by 1 per turn. Some cards and abilities are cross-lane, but general cards can only affect the lane they're being cast from, and you need a hero in the lane cast a card of the color. Mana costs have been reduced for low-end and mid-tier cards, but high-end cards remain expensive. If you want to blow up a lane, it might be the only thing you can do in a round. Balance the original game with these high-impact spells was tricky. You had some decks that went from casting 0 big spells to a big spell in every lane. Single mana pool means that instead of having essentially 9 mana in the first round, you have essentially 3. Each action costs at least 1 mana, so without things like a refresh from CM, you can no longer delay turns for free. You need to weigh the costs of waiting to respond versus saving enough mana for your high-impact spells. Interesting. Combination of 1 shared mana pool and adding a mana cost to all actions have taken some of the weight from the initiative system in the original game. The initiative system was something that experienced players enjoyed immensely, but a steep learning curve for new players that had some really negative side effects if it caught you off guard. That is true. Some players ignored initiative. Other players felt that controlling initiative was the main strategic concern. So we don't think this is a change that should be taken lightly. This disconnect may be responsible for the communication breakdown we see playing out in the community. That makes sense. The swinginess of initiative was definitely a problem. For people who didn't care about initiative, a lot of them didn't understand why they were losing so much. Need some water. Hydrate myself. We think that the current system gets to a similar place where the actions you take and the order you take them are both very important without the big downsides of the learning cliff and the resulting struggles with lockout. Yeah. If you didn't care about initiative, you could get locked out of a lane, and that was a big problem. But also, lockout will be less of a problem because of the movement ability of characters. New defaults, we've been trying to move away from the very technically worded cards from the past. They are always very accurate, but sometimes it felt like you need to be a programmer to work out what was actually going to happen. Good. This was a problem when the game wasn't out yet. I, in fact, pretty much took it upon myself to write articles about how things would work with each other because everything was so specifically worded. Cards and abilities will affect a lane unless stated otherwise. Any verb, stun, disarm, etc. lasts until the end of the round unless another duration is set. All cards with persistent effects are labeled as enchantments and last until dispelled. All permanent modifications are labeled as such. Good. Arrows point forward by default, but can be modified temporarily. At the end of the turn, or if you move the unit, its arrows reset. But can be modified temporarily. I think that this removes the RNG of arrows? Is that what I'm seeing here? Interesting. That's nice. Having the only 50% chance to go forward was kind of a problem. Keyword changes. Armor. Armor in the old game caused some issues. Early in development, we ended up doubling all stat values to compensate for how dramatic the impact of a single point of armor was. It also added a lot of math when you had multiple damage sources. Now, each point of armor can block 1 point of damage and is refreshed at the beginning of the round. Oh, okay. So someone with 2 armor blocks the first 2 damage taken in that round. Sure. Yeah, makes sense. Makes armor a little bit less OP than it was. I like it. Cleave Siege. These used to be dependent on the unit being blocked to function. Now they are active all of the time. Hey, useful. Feeble. Feeble is new to the game, but we want to talk about it anyway, so we can show off one of the basic hero reworks. Each unit attacking a Feeble unit will deal excess damage to the tower instead. For example, if Debbie, 4-3, is blocked by a unit 1-3 and uses no active, leaving it with 1 remaining health, 3 damage will be dealt to the tower and her passive ability will trigger. Yeah, that's... Trample. Trample's good. Scrapper. After combat, if Debbie the Cunning dealt damage to a tower, give the tower -1 armor and give Debbie +1 armor permanently. Sweet. Yeah, that's good. Gives black a little bit. Keeps the aggressive side of black without, and I think this is a quick spell because of that symbol. I'm not sure, but yeah, keeps the aggressive way of black, and gives Debbie a little bit more health. 4-3 is a little bit weak, but with Scrapper, she's able to get armor, which is good. Card unlocks. All players will unlock cards playing in any mode. The pace should be such that players are excited by getting fun cards to play with, but aren't overwhelmed when they see too many new cards being played by an opponent. Okay, that doesn't mean anything. Although playing in any mode is useful, means that free draft can get you cards. Players that are new to the game enjoy casual play, like to learn by doing instead of reading, or just enjoy a sense of progression. Wait, players that are new to the game enjoy casual play, like to learn by doing instead of reading, or just enjoy seeing a sense of progression would start in general matchmaking. They can grow their card pools while matching against opponents with a similar number of card unlocks. Good. This is a problem in Magic the Gathering Arena and Hearthstone and any online card game. Matching against opponents with a similar number of card unlocks. Resets everyone, at the beginning of the season or whatever, this will make it so that new players will always be faced against new players at the start of a season, and experienced players will always be facing against experienced players at the start of a season. This is great, giving them a controlled environment to learn in. Hero Draft even pulls from the combined set of cards that you and your opponent have unlocked to keep things extra fair. Oh, cool. Eventually, these players can switch to ranked mode in automated tournaments if they want to experience a more competitive environment. Yeah, cool. There will also be the option to jump right into scrimmages in custom tournaments. These will let players set rules or allow any card they see fit. Oh my god. Oh my god, that's so good! Did everything break? No, okay. This is so good! All players will probably enjoy these from time to time, but advanced players can start playing these immediately. Oh my god! What this means is, again, Hearthstone and Arena have this problem. Hearthstone less so now that the deck sharing feature is a thing, but this makes it so that when the game first comes out, you can test out decks with scrims versus a friend or whatever, or just like go to a Discord server and say, hey, I'm looking for scrims, and you can play any card that you want. And you can test out decks before you unlock them so that you don't get that feel bad of having crafted the cards, or unlocking the cards in this case, and ending up not liking the deck. And custom tournaments makes it so that even new players can experience tournaments in case of like a Discord server or whatever. That is amazing. Okay, that's the biggest change so far I've seen. Your feedback after our call for suggestions. Oh, not biggest, but I'm most excited about this. Your feedback after our call for suggestions about how to improve the game. We are overwhelmed by responses both in the quantity, took us a week to catch up on reading them and they're still coming, and also the quality. The community took the task seriously and wrote in with a wide range of suggestions, from gameplay changes and features through to feedback on localization and possible founder benefits. We aren't able to respond individually to every submission, but we were able to compile a list of promising ideas from the community and get a sense of where people most want the team to spend their attention. Luckily, that lined up well with the team's internal plans. Need apostrophe. Here's a taste of some of the things people ask for in our current plans. So, I did send an email, and my email said to please keep free drafting in the game. Because drafting was a big part, and I love drafting for free. Arena has this problem, and Hearthstone has this problem where it costs money either in-game or out-of-game to draft, which is a problem. Progression. The most popular request outside of gameplay changes was for more robust progression systems. People wanted to feel like their time spent with the game was being rewarded. We also wanted a better measure of their competitive strength so they could see themselves improving. We would like people to be able to feel a sense of progression in the game through unlocking cards and other collectibles. Interesting. In the normal course of play without being forced to spend money. But we're still experimenting with different reward structures. Okay. For competitive play, we are working on designs similar to the Underlord's rank system, which we hope will provide people with goals to aim for, a clear path to get there, and a meaningful way to measure yourself against other players. We're also thinking through ways we might be able to connect these systems with Artifact's robust tournament support. This doesn't mean a lot to me. I don't play games for ranked, but if ranked is in a game, I'll play it. Whatever. Quality of life. Tracking your competitive rank is just one aspect of giving people the tools to improve at the game. We're also fleshing out player profiles like people track statistics about the game they've played, view match histories, and watch replays. Supposedly, in the closed beta of Artifact, this was a thing, but they removed it. I want this. Additionally, we're looking at frequently requested quality of life and social features such as chat history, the ability to spectate friends, good, access more game modes when challenging friends, good, and saving templates for tournament settings. Ooh, saving templates, good. Also in the odds and ends category is feedback that we got from many non-English speaking communities, sometimes read via machine translation, that they would like to see a different approach to localizing hero names, preferring a transliteration of the English name rather than the literal translations of their names. We'll be talking to our localization team about this. Good. Single player! Hey! A lot of you recognize the potential for telling stories about the Dota world through Artifact and love that what we'd already done through comics and flavor text. We're doubling down on that effort through a single-player campaign, which will both teach new players the game and continue the story that began with a call to arms. Tying into our progression systems, we want people to feel rewarded no matter which way they choose to play the game, whether it be competitive play or the campaign. Campaign is good in a card game. Honestly, the only reason I play Hearthstone is for the single-player content, or Battlegrounds, but Battlegrounds fucked it up. This is great. This will pull in people that aren't too interested in playing against people. Yeah, single player is awesome. Looking forward to your thoughts. So, let me just run through this real quick. Again, not reading every word. Initiative. Quick spells rather than get initiative spells. It's now a mechanic instead of just... It's now a one-word mechanic, which is good. Single mana pool is big. Reduced for low-end and mid-tier cards. So something that would have cost 2 mana maybe costs 1. That's good, since now there's a single mana pool. Everything costs at least 1 mana. Good. So you can't really bait out an option just to counter their option. That's good. Well, debatable. It makes the game more active, but it makes reactive decks a lot less powerful, which was a problem, because blue was probably the most powerful color in Artifact, because it was just so reactive. This is interesting. Arrows point forward by default, but can be modified temporarily. What I see this as is the cards that say change a unit's combat target have gotten better because there is no chance... There's not that 25% chance of, oh, it's already doing the thing, so I don't need to play this. It makes it more necessary for red decks who really need kills. Although Bristleback got changed, so kills aren't necessarily the most important thing anymore. This gets rid of some of the reactive RNG of the game, which I like. There was a post on r/artifact that really did well of saying... Let me find... Hey, it's me. Well, there's a really good article, I'll call it an article. It was a post on the subreddit that described reactive RNG versus active RNG. It's why Hearthstone's RNG seems fun, is because you put in Yogg's Puzzle Box into your deck. You put in the Amazing Reno, you put in... What else is new that's super random? Or just like an old card, Flamewaker. You put in Flamewaker into your deck, you accept that that randomness is a thing, but you expect it, and therefore you're able to play around it before you play it. Whereas reactive RNG is, well, the arrow pointed that way, I guess I have to deal with that now. It's it's based on the systemics of the game rather than player input into how much randomness they want. You can play a Hearthstone deck with zero randomness in it, other than, of course, drawing cards, which is expected for every card game, and you can't really get away from that. The only card game that got rid of that drawing cards randomness was Gwent, and it got stale real fast. But even then, you're only drawing cards that you put into your deck. So, yeah, they didn't quite understand the point of randomness in Artifact, but the arrows point forward thing is important. Armor. Instead of blocking per source, it blocks per round. That's good. I like that. I assume that negative armor works the same way, where instead of per source, it's per round. Hopefully, because otherwise Scrapper with the 1/1 creeps are gonna be pretty good. Yeah, I'm happy with that. Cleave Siege used to be dependent on the unit being blocked. Now it always works. Good. I like that. Siege is sort of a weird trample, and Cleave makes it... Cleave feels less of, like... Oh, it's good for killing units, but not much else, because if you hit the tower with Cleave, suddenly it feels bad. And you can't cleave into a tower, but you can cleave into units. So, if we go with the 5 spaces, right? There's nobody in the middle, but there is on either side. You cleave into the middle tower, but these two get hit anyway, which is good. Yeah. This is big. I like this a lot. Hero Draft even pulls from the combined set of cards you and your opponent have unlocked to keep things extra fair. So, I don't know what exactly this means. I'm gonna make a guess, and this guess is how I want it to work now, not how I think it works. How I want it to work is I queue up for Hero Draft with these 5 heroes and these 40 cards. Or these 20... whatever cards. 5 times 3 is 15, 25 cards. And you're then faced against an opponent who also drafted 5 heroes and 25 cards. And you pick which heroes you want and which cards you want in a draft-based setting. Similar to how that one mode from Dota 2 works. That's how I think this is going to work. It might work that you queue up for Hero Draft and just don't pick anything, and you pick from overall the heroes and cards that you and your opponent have, which would also be fine. I think that the second one is actually better on thinking about it, because if you only bring in red heroes and red cards, then your opponent most likely is not going to pick up any of your stuff. Right? If you just go monocolor. Yeah, I think the second one is better. Automated tournaments. The tournament system in Artifact 1.0 was great. Automated is great. The main problem with Artifact 1.0 tournaments was that you needed to manually put everyone in. This makes it like Smash Ultimate. Smash Ultimate's tournaments, you Just get into a tournament and play in the tournament setting. I'm talking about the online tournaments, not like real life tournaments. I'm so happy. Testing decks for free makes me so happy. That's great. I love that. The Underlord's ranked system is pretty good. I think it's probably better to have the Dota 2 ranked system, which is the same as the Overwatch ranked system. Personally, but this is fine. Yeah. Quality of life is really nice. I think that the biggest thing here is watch replays. Being able to see where you made a mistake. And if you're able to watch replays, I would love to be able to see what was in your opponent's hand as well, so that you can see their plays as well and learn from them. If not, that's fine. But, yeah, replays are good. This will also lead to artifact coaching via watching replays, which will help a lot of people. Yeah, that's good. Single player is good. I like single player. Looks like tying into our progression system, we want people to feel rewarded no matter which way they choose to play the game, whether it be competitive player campaign. So you start off in campaign. Theoretically, a new player could just start off in campaign, get to a point where they pretty much can't win anymore because because the devs are expecting you to switch between campaign and multiplayer, and then go into multiplayer so that they have a deck already. That's great. That's awesome. I like that. Alright, well, thank you for watching. I'm excited, and I will see you all next Monday, or Tuesday if I'm lazy when uploading this video.